The biggest ouch to an actor's career is underestimating a role that they later realize could have been huge. Let's take a look at some of the huge roles actors passed on and who took the gold home instead.
I'm tired, Miss Rain.
If not for yourself, then for the people who love you.
Nobody loved me.
The Matrix started out with a modest budget of just $63 million.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
It first opened in theaters on March 31st of 1999 and got immediate praise from critics for its innovations in the action film genre and visual effects. Fast forward about nearly 2 decades and the film has a tangible pop culture significance that changed the way cyberpunk sci-fi and superhero films were shaped forever. And guess what? Will Smith passed on the role of the main character of the film. Apparently, Will just wasn't impressed with the pitch they gave him for the film. After coming off the highs of Man in Black and Independence Day, he didn't feel like doing another sci-fi movie. What did he choose to do instead? Wild Wild West, a film that, in the eyes of critics, did not stand the test of time. It barely made any money at the box office and received less than exciting reviews from audience members. Even though his career survived the hit because of his prominence and amazing acting skills, in this regard, Will definitely missed the golden mark.
Need, besides a miracle.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Run.
Mr. Wizard! Get me the hell out of here!
Got a patch on an ode exit, Wabash and Lake.
When GQ asked Denzel Washington which film he regretted turning down, the most he cited the lead role in the film Michael Clayton. The film was released in 2007, and with a budget of about $21 million, it made about $93 million at the box office.
Respected law firms in the world. You are a legend.
I'm an accomplice!
You are a manic depressive.
The film was a breakout critic and audience success, and still holds a 90% score on Rotten Tomatoes today. Tony Gilroy, the director and screenwriter, was a first-time director on the film, and Denzel felt weary about this fact when they approached him with an offer for a role. So he turned it down, and they got George Clooney instead, who won a Best Actor nomination for the role in 2008. That new director? Well, he was nominated for Best Director at the Academy Awards in 2008 for his work on the film. With the way things played out, it's pretty clear why Denzel may have been punching the air in 2008 when he heard the outcome.
I'm not going to be one of these people that goes through life wondering why shit keeps falling out of the sky around them.
In an interview with Jimmy Fallon, Eddie admitted that the only movie he ever turned down that went on to be a big hit was Robert Zemeckis' groundbreaking animated film Who Framed Roger Rabbit from 1988.
How did that gargoyle get to be a judge?
Spread a bunch of simoleons around Toontown a couple years back. Bought the election.
He was offered the role of Bob Hoskins, but he turned it down. The idea that animation and real people could be on screen in a believable way sounded completely ridiculous to him, and he thought the idea wouldn't float with audiences. But if only Eddie had the same hindsight then that we do now, he would have taken the role in a heartbeat. It became the second highest grossing film of 1988, grossing over $350 million worldwide. It also won 3 Academy Awards for its unique visual and sound effects.
Holy smoke, he's a tomb!
The film Speed was one of the most iconic action thrillers of its decade. In this seat-clenching thriller, a bomb is placed on a bus by an extortionist, and it's set to explode once the speed of the bus goes below 50 miles per hour. The task of Annie Porter and Jack Raven, the leads of the film, is to keep that from happening. But to keep up the tension in a film like that, There had to be a lot more physical storytelling than chit-chatting. And this seemed to rub Halle Berry the wrong way. When she was approached for the role of Annie Porter in the film, she was turned off by the sparse dialogue and the fact that she really didn't want to drive that bus. But to be fair, Halle was a bit thrown off by some of the script versions they were sending her. In one version, the bus never left Dodgers Stadium. It just keeps going round and round in the parking lot for most of the film. She appreciated that the film had a colorblind cast, as the role they offered her wasn't specifically written for a black woman. However, she ultimately turned it down, and the role went to Sandra Bullock, who was still considered relatively new at the time. In an interview with Movie Line, she said, "When I watched the finished movie, I loved it, and I thought to myself, the movie gods sure didn't talk to me that day." She still left feeling that even if she did take the role, there was no chance she would experience the same career success from it that Sandra Bullock did.
Jack? Floor it.
What?
Floor it. It's an interchange. There might be an incline. Floor it.
Fine.
Wanted blew up. You pay me the advance for the follow-up. Now, is that not what the fuck you said?
That is what...
When casting for the film Straight Outta Compton, Dre specifically had Michael B. Jordan in mind to play him in the film.
Well, my people sitting right across the street from your mama's house right now. Because if I don't show up, they gonna show out.
But it seems the star was much too busy and there were way too many scheduling issues when it came to shooting for the film. He was already shooting for Fantastic Four, a film that, no matter how memorable it is, completely tanked in the eyes of audiences and critics who rated it as barely passable. Straight Outta Compton, on the other hand, took on Corey Hawkins to play Dr. Dre. The film was relatively well received and made a profit of $91 million at the box office. Find out more about the deals and no deals going on behind the scenes of Black Hollywood?
I gave you the product. Give me my money, Brian. And we always gonna be with you. We always gonna be brothers.
I'm not done with you yet.
Idris Elba loves musicals. When the opportunity to be cast as Gaston in the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast came, he auditioned for the part of Gaston. He called up the casting director and said, "Listen, I want in." But he discovered a little too late that he just wasn't cut out for the role, and the part was given to Luke Evans instead. Although people don't look back fondly at the live-action films, at the time the film became the biggest ever movie musical film at the UK box office and became one of the highest-grossing films of all time. Fans later expressed that Luke was a much better choice because Idris has too much of an industry reputation for playing more serious roles, and that would undercut how his performance was perceived by audiences. So even though he missed out on his dream to play in a musical for reasons he couldn't control, it turns out it was for the best anyway.
For your dinner table. Shall I join you this evening?
Sorry, not this evening.
Busy?
No.
The biggest ouch an actor can get is passing on a role and then finding out that the person who took it won an Oscar.
Yeah, but it looked to me like you don't really need to be smoking.
When Angela was approached with the chance to play Letitia Musgrove in Monsters Ball, she was added to the list of many actresses who completely rejected the part. Her reasoning was a little more interesting than just not liking the part, though. The film is set in the South, and the main plot is about a racist white man who falls in love with a black woman named Letitia. Angela felt like the main character's affair was demeaning and stereotypical. She told Newsweek, "I wasn't going to be a prostitute on film. I couldn't do that because it's such a stereotype about black women and sexuality."
Good kid. He was so good. He loved me.
Halle Berry, who got the final part, went on to win an Oscar for this performance. making her the first woman of color to win an Academy Award for Best Actress. But since Angela Bassett is as decorated as she is, she probably hardly misses it. The film was a huge critical success.
Why do they always run?
There are some films that seem like they were made to be forgotten chick flicks and become humongous successes with all audiences, and Charlie's Angels was one of them. While we all remember Lucy Liu's incredible performance in the film, the role of Alex Monday was actually originally slated for Thandie Newton. At first, she was all in for it, but then she had an experience ahead of the meetings that completely turned her off the movie altogether. She met up with the director of the film, Joseph McGinty Nicol, and the Sony Pictures head Amy Pascal. Thandie claims that Joseph made an odd comment about the lengths the film would go to sexualize her, and that made her uncomfortable. To make matters worse, Amy made a lot of racially stereotyped suggestions about how to make Thandie's character believable to audiences.
Thank you, Charlie!
Thandie ultimately had to walk off with her dignity intact. The film made $261 million on a $93 million budget, making it the 12th highest-grossing film of the year, with a cast memorable decades after the fact. Although she regrets passing on the opportunity, Thandie has to do what she has to do.
Flip your goddamn hair.
Always something in my way.
Sometimes actors need to truly embody the roles they are going to play, and that involves having to dramatically change their physical appearance too. Jennifer Hudson was the first pick for the main character of the film Precious, but the role required her to gain a lot of weight. She had just come off of Dreamgirls, where she already played a character that had body image struggles, and with the weight requirement, it felt completely redundant for her career. She also found the script to be incredibly intense. Ultimately, she didn't turn the role down for the weight, but when she gave it a chance and read the script, she knew immediately that she did not want to go there. They instead went with Gabourey Sidibe, who had no acting experience prior to the film and still managed to deliver an unbelievably depthful performance. The film had a tangible impact on the cinema landscape and became an immediate film classic.
Whoa, fellas. I know my tags are out of date, but damn.
Ja Rule may have been a success in the first Fast and Furious movie, but reports state that he got a little bit too big for his boots when he was offered a role in the sequel of the film. After playing Edwin in the first film, he was offered a hefty sequel to return for the next movie. Singleton later stated, "Ja got too big for his boots. He turned it down. He turned down $500,000. According to the director, he was acting like he was way too big now to return for the second movie. He didn't return calls and had to go all the way to the studio just to see him. When Singleton got fed up with being played to the side, he made a call and got Ludacris on the phone. Ludacris went on to become a huge star as a result of working on the Fast and Furious movies, with his character being central to the massive franchise.
And to know Miami, he's got his finger in absolutely everything. It's just the way it is.
Come on now.
What's going on, Suki?
What's up, baby?
How you doing?
He reportedly bagged over $1 million for multiple movies, and way more than just $500,000 in the rest, and managed to sustain a consistent acting career and remain culturally relevant. Looking back now, Ja Rule left because he felt like he was making way more money at the time than what they were offering him. Unfortunately, this didn't remain the case, and over the years he realized more and more that he passed on an opportunity for a long-standing acting legacy and a hefty paycheck.
Whoa, wait a second. Why don't I just find y'all a fourth and we settle this on the streets, huh?
Bring him on.
You ready to blow?
Yeah, I'm ready to blow.
Well, I'm a mushroom cloud laying motherfucker.
Lawrence Fishburne and Pulp Fiction Jules from Pulp Fiction has to be Samuel L. Jackson's most classic, iconic role. It perfectly encapsulates the character's personality that we know him for. The grittiness, dark humor, violence, and edginess of the film made it the polar opposite of films that were being released in 1994. And now, every film student who thinks they're cool can't make it through a conversation with someone who hasn't seen it. It's hard to imagine that anyone else could have ever done the role of Jules justice, but it just so happens that Samuel was not the first pick for the character. It was actually Lawrence Fishburne. Rumor has it that he rejected the role for a pretty silly reason. It wasn't the lead role in the film.
This is a tasty burger. Vincent, you ever had a Big Kahuna burger?
That's right. Lawrence Fishburne turned down the role because he wouldn't get to be the main character. At least that's what Quentin Tarantino claimed. Lawrence later opened up about the real reason he turned it down. Even though Tarantino wrote it specifically with him in mind, the part just didn't feel like it was for him at the time. One of his main gripes was how the issue of heroin was handled in the film. Well, however unfortunate that he missed out on the success of the film, it may not have been as successful as it was without the killer casting choice that Samuel was at the end of the day.
What the fuck's happening? Oh,
man.
shit, man.
Oh, man, I shot Marvin in the face.
What? Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
I don't be eating that shit. Look at this. Look at all this fat. This fat.
On the list of actresses who completely turned down Monsters Ball is Queen Latifah. This is a curious case where she actually wanted the role but turned it down for circumstances out of her control. According to her interview with the Associated Press, it was meant to be her and Robert De Niro in the main role, but for some reason, they just couldn't set it up. She knew what the role would take, and she did want it, but things just didn't turn out that way. Before the film was out, she read the script and knew it was a film made just to win Oscars. She went on to say, "It was the type of script that was written to be an Oscar winner, and that's the only reason you would take it, because you know it would require so much of you as an actor that if you don't get a freaking Oscar for this, you ain't gonna ever get one." She has some regrets about passing on the gem, especially with how it ended up panning out for Halle, but it just couldn't be helped.
I'm losing it. I can't afford to make the payments no more.
Look at
him. Cuba has admitted that his own pickiness led to his downfall, especially after winning Best Supporting Actor for his role in Jerry Maguire. Basing his decisions on his ego would turn out to be a huge mistake, and Amistad is one such example. When he was offered a role in Amistad, he turned it down because the money was on the low side for what he thought it was worth. Amistad itself was a moderately successful film. It had a budget of around $40 million and made only $58 million at the box office. It received moderate reviews from audience members and critics alike.
To do this, I have a modest suggestion.
The regret doesn't lie with the success of the film for Cuba, though. His biggest regret was how taking that role could have contributed to the longevity of his Hollywood career. He told The Guardian, "I had all these big directors offering me roles, and I read their scripts and said, I don't think this part is right for me." And what happens is, if you offend enough big directors, you get taken off their lists. His picky habit eventually led to his career floundering over time.
Give us free!
Oh, fuck me.
Jax!
You wanna come take a look at this?
For the life of him, Denzel can't seem to stop turning down roles and then later regretting it. As a repeat offender on this list, he also turned down a role in the iconic crime horror Seven. This may be the rejection he is the least proud of. At the time, he rejected the film because he read the script and thought it was too demonic. Yes, he was a little too scared to shoot it. After the film came out with Brad Pitt as David Mills, he realized that he completely miscalculated the film and regretted not taking it. Supposedly, the excellence of the film didn't reflect on the screen for him.
You're looking for me.
Hey! What's your fucking move?
The final product was far more enticing than what he imagined it would be. However upset he may be at himself, he's still able to admit that Brad was perfect for the role, and it was ultimately always going to be him. Or maybe that's what he tells himself to console his regret.
What's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Give me the gun.
He just told you.
You lied! You're a fucking liar! Shut up!
Naomi Campbell was cast to shoot a few scenes for the gritty drama Leaving Las Vegas. She was fully on board with the project and happy to be a part of it. The film is estimated to have had a budget of a measly $3 million, which is abnormally low for a Hollywood film, but it was a success and grossed $49 million at the box office. Nicolas Cage won an Oscar for his role in the film. While Naomi was happy to be part of the project, it seems the editing room was not. Even after having shot the scenes, she was completely cut out of the film. The reason was never revealed, but she definitely put up a fight with whoever was cursed with the task of having to tell her. Whatever conditions there would have been to keep her role in, she didn't take them, and the final product went out without her in it.
I'm going to buy you a drink.
Oh, I'm okay, thanks.
No, I am going to buy you a drink. Bud, please, Bud.
Click on this next video to dive deep into the lives of your favorite Black Hollywood stars. What would you like to see next? Comment down below.